On this week's episode of the Heating Up podcast, we are officially all back in studio. Life is good for some of us, very terrible for the others. NBA, basketball, baseball, World Series, the NFL Week 8. Everything seems like it should be perfect, and I want to jump off a bridge. So keep listening to find out why. So listen in, lock in, and here we go.
Hello, friends. I'm Jim Nance, and I'll welcome you to a tradition unlike any other.
He's heating up.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!
He's on fire. Cristiano Ronaldo. Sensational. Boom shakalaka.
You believe in miracles? Yes!
There it goes. See ya.
He's heating up.
Trying to get open, fires away.
Bang! It's over. The Bulls win at the buzzer.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Heating Up podcast. As always, I am Sasha with my wonderful co-hosts Sara and Mike, and I am coming off of one of the worst days of sports I have ever had in my entire life. It was a brutal Red Monday for me, but I am here to face the music and try to get some of this off my chest. Before we do that, we got to go chronologically with all of our football teams here. Week 8 officially done. Start with some positive news. I was able to watch the Bills game with our dear friend Mike Blazel live in person. We had a great all-time betting day on Sunday. Everything was turning up us. And then the Bills come out and lay the absolute smackdown on the Seahawks on the
Yeah, it was great. And Sasha saw the oblique injury rear its ugly head.
Yeah. It was a real scream in person. You saw, I mean, he fought through it just like Jaden Daniels did. You know, had a rib injury, had a midsection injury, but it did not stop him. When it came time to show up, he showed up.
Brave. So brave.
Well, Sasha, I'm gonna actually turn the tables on you before we get into the game. How would you say the experience of watching the Buffalo Bills with me? Was it great? Did you
10 out of 10. I would say when the Bills are playing well, there's no better environment in sports.
That's right. You mean my living room?
Yes.
Yeah. I agree with you, Sasha. It was a great game. This is the best Bills roster they have had in my lifetime.
I don't know if you're waiting for a fight back. I
Okay,
don't know
great.
enough.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
I
No
don't
arguments
know.
there. Thank you.
I mean, obviously, Stephon Diggs just officially out for the season, ACL. You guys moved on just the right time. You have a new Stephon Diggs and Khalil Shakir anyway. And now you've turned that into Amari Cooper. I don't know enough about the depth of roster in your past teams, but I think, your defense looks amazing. Your offense is just clicking. Josh Allen is, I don't know if we really saw him miss a throw in that entire game. Your running backs are great. Your offensive line is solid. It seems like a stay healthy, and I want to see how you guys end up playing against some of these other top tier teams when when it comes to playoff time is really when it all matters.
And I just think if we can just somehow figure out a way to acquire like a future Hall of Famer and an all-pro for the defensive side, I mean, it's just going to take us over the top.
Who could that be?
Wait a minute. I just got an alert. Matt Milano, they're working on getting him back. They have a vision. And wait, Von Miller's back from suspension? Get out of here.
That's a guy.
Well, that's it.
There you go.
That's all I needed. Those are the two things. I will say maybe not my whole lifetime, but in the Josh Allen era, this is the most complete team. And even though Tyler Bass hasn't had to kick a long one, he hasn't missed a field goal in 2 games. So that's really great. Knock on wood, everybody. Everybody knock on wood. I don't see anybody knocking but me. Thank you.
I knocked.
Sarah's not knocking. She's got her fingers crossed over there.
She's tired of this already.
The Keon Coleman is very quickly developing into like a number 1 receiver, 3rd in the league in rookie receiving yards right now. He's way better than I thought he was going to be this early. And like shows I don't know how to evaluate how hard it is to evaluate players. I was really nervous about him after those first couple games. I thought he looked lost, and he's really put it together, and I think that's a credit to Amari Cooper. I think it's just he draws so much more attention that was not needed to be given to other people that now Keon Coleman is able to work and develop without the pressure of also probably having to be the number 1, whether they wanted to say it or not. Yeah, complete game. We stopped them on their first drive. Greg Rousseau is like in the top 10 in like every defensive metric for defensive ends. He's not getting the sacks, but he is putting up numbers that are star level. Like he's up with Myles Garrett and TJ Watt and all these guys. So we've really developing something. And one of the big reasons that I was listening to and I saw is we're putting him at left defensive end. And over his career, we've moved him around because of Von Miller plays that position as well. And so he's played left and right, and we've also bumped him, kicked him inside to play like almost like a defensive tackle. And him going against these right tackles is just he's eating. He batted down 2 of the first 3 passes in the game.
It looked like Geno Smith was like playing against the Monstars. Like anytime you'd roll out, it's just like all of a sudden your line just looked like 6 inches taller than everybody and had their hands up just to block everything. And he looked lost. Like there was nothing he could do.
Yeah, and if you watch enough Bills games, it's like the thing I yell. It's probably from just playing basketball my whole life, but it's just like I just yell hands up on every. Get your hands up, and I'm sure it's like very hard to do that while also trying to move a human. But they did a great job of doing it. I do think you get hands in the passing lanes, and it's just like teams that are good at that. You get 1 or 2 of these. That's how we were able to get our big man interception in this game, was because you're getting hands up, you're batting balls, you're making the quarterback change their entire throwing motion to basically like it's an easy way to get in their head. It's just as effective as sacks. They were an awesome running team. They had -1 rushing yards in the first half, which is just incredible. It's incredible. Josh Allen was great. Everybody got involved. Our number 1 wide receiver only needed to have 1 catch for 3 yards in this game, and we obliterated them. The Jets and the Dolphins managed to do what they do, which was a great way to watch. As the Bills are getting ready to kick off, we were watching Arizona make the field goal to beat the Dolphins. Incredible.
It's just the rest of that division being everybody's 2-6, correct? Aside from you guys?
Yeah, everybody's Dolphins are 2-5 because they had the bye week.
Oh, right.
So but we play the Dolphins in Buffalo on Sunday. So
big game,
I guess. Big game for Tua. Man.
That sounded like a threat.
Yeah, better watch out there, Tua. Better put on that Guardian cap. Yeah, I mean, I feel great, guys. Football's great, isn't it?
I hate you so much.
It's the best. You guys have to really, like, when you're watching Josh Allen, you have to think about like what we're witnessing in real time. It's like I used to tell myself that when Curry was in his absolute apex. It's like you don't know you're in the good old days until you're out of them. And like we're in the good old days right now of Josh Allen. We're going to be bouncing our grandkids on our laps talking about, remember Josh Allen carving up the Seahawks at my house, Sasha?
I remember that. I remember that. Listen, it all comes
I'll
down
remember
to the
this
playoffs.
gambling day for the rest of my life.
It just comes down. It's just all about staying healthy. Because if you guys look like that, I think that people are kind of realizing maybe the Seahawks aren't as good, but you guys did what you have to do against not great teams, especially on the road. It's never easy to win a game in the NFL.
That looked pretty easy.
It's just about staying healthy for the playoffs and having it at the right time on the right day. And you guys might have the division wrapped up with like 4 weeks left in the season if the rest of those teams keep playing like they're doing that. So it's just a matter of having the plays, having the people ready. And honestly, I feel like people aren't going to want to go to Buffalo. So that home field advantage is going to be huge.
I want to go.
And those other top teams in the AFC also keep winning. So fighting for that spot, I think, is going to be huge.
Yeah. I mean, I've been walking on sunshine for the last 2 days. It's great. I feel so good about the Buffalo Bills right now.
Well, it was intoxicating being around somebody that enjoyed watching their football team. But going to the opposite,
intoxicated. Is that what you're saying?
The opposite end of the spectrum, we were going to kick it to Sunday night. It was the Cowboys visiting the San Francisco 49ers. Cowboys go and visit their big brother and pull out. I'd say the score maybe didn't necessarily reflect the closeness of the game because it kind of felt like the Cowboys never really had control. But it ended up being a 6-point loss. Was it 30-24, 30-26?
If you would like to know the state of affairs over here, I went to bed in the third quarter. Does that tell you anything? How about yes, down bad.
That's it. Listen, I get it's a work night. There's patience that they need to be seen. Whether what happens with the Cowboys or not, patience need to be seen. But you're not the kind of lady that's going to go to sleep in the middle of a Cowboys game.
No, I am not even ashamed of it because it was just pain. They ended up coming back, making more of a game of it. I did watch the highlights, but I'd say it went about exactly as I could have predicted. Not what I hoped for, but what I predicted. I was like hopeful that they were going to be able to pull it out, but we all knew it felt like a little bit of a reach, especially once we found out getting closer that both Kittle and Debo were going to be playing. I felt like with those weapons in there, like their offense was probably a little bit too much for us to handle. The evening started off with a little drama, though, at the running back position when Rico Dowdle suddenly became sick upon arriving to the stadium. Kind of suspect because Zeke was actually set to be inactive this week, which like was a big deal because I guess Jerry Jones didn't want to like make Zeke inactive. It was like a whole pride loyalty thing, and they felt like they were kind of like embarrassing him. But yeah, they were set to go with Dowdle and give Dalvin Cook a chance at running back this week. And then all of a sudden, Rico Dowdle is sick upon arriving, and we're back to Zeke and Dalvin Cook as our running back. So I'm not going to say there was foul play, but it seems a little suspect that Zeke, like his position was in jeopardy here. And then all of a sudden, like Rico Dowdle is sick upon arriving, and he came in, scored a touchdown, was looking okay. So I think he saved his career by this. Honestly, I think this was a career-saving move on Zeke's end.
Are you pulling some tinfoil hat Mike Blazel special?
Yeah,
Hear what's going on? What kind of foul play? You think he's doing like the Michael Jordan flu game, giving him bad pizza the night before the game? What are you insinuating?
I think he sipped a little something in his pregame. That's what I'm thinking. But
did you see the video of Dalvin Cook maybe sipping a little something pregame?
I did see that too. Do you think Zeke tried to take him out as well?
I don't know. It looked like he was drinking a little nip.
Yeah, it did.
Little liquor before the game. And then somebody said it was pickle juice.
I've seen those. Yeah, they have those little jars or whatever to stop cramping.
As a doctor, can you want to shed some light on the pickle juice craze? And should I be drinking it?
Yeah, pickle juice is good. Sodium, it just you lose it in sweat. So you're just replenishing what you're going to lose through sweat.
So if I'm not sweating throughout the day, don't.
Yeah, I think that's
just going to be bloated.
It's amazing. It's doing the same thing whether you're exercising or not. Turns from something very healthy to like the fattest thing you can do.
Yeah, so do not.
You said the magic words.
So yeah, that started off. Run game was maybe a little bit better than it has been, but still not great. Not great at all. Started off okay though. Otherwise, for the Cowboys, I felt like things took a turn for the worse when they went down by 2 scores, because with the way our defense is beat up and how sluggish the offense has been, it's just very hard for them, I feel like, to close that gap at any point right now. So that was huge, I feel like, by going down so much. And they were able to claw their way back a little bit, but ultimately you cannot win games with the turnover ratio that the Cowboys have. They're third worst in the league, I think, at -8. We're previously have been one of the top teams with the highest turnovers in the past few years. And I don't know if that's Dan Quinn leaving or just a different style of defense with Zimmer and obviously injuries. But I mean, Dak is turning over the ball way too much and we're lacking. So the gap there is just too big. And you're not going to win games like that, especially against like a, I guess, higher caliber team like the 49ers are. I don't know. They're talented. They haven't been playing well, but they're obviously still a good team that you can't afford that. And Dak, I mean, he had one of his interceptions was really bad. Like anyone could have picked that off. He was staring down the sideline, like waiting for C to get there. It's like, this is not shocking. Why are you still doing this? It's exhausting.
But he got engaged over the bye week. Aren't you excited for him?
Don't even get me going. Like, seriously, after getting their butt kicked by the Lions, that's like what he's scheming. I can't. I was like, I know they have lives out of football 100%, but like that felt like kind of a little bit of a weird move. Like, I think you could have waited on that a little
and
bit.
Also, they've shown the pictures of it. Like, he did it on the green of a golf course. Like, you're a multi-millionaire. You have generational wealth. Like, you didn't plan something a little more than just, I'm going to go do this on a golf course.
Yeah.
Don't propose shame. It was probably a country club.
No, it probably
that
was
none
his
of us could
course
get
in his
into.
Yard. It was probably the
really?
Yeah, it was probably his house. But my issue with him, honestly, this has become bigger and bigger as the more he sucks. I don't know if you ever look at his Instagram. He uses inappropriate capitalization of random words in his posts. Like, it is like
he just doesn't know how to speak English.
No, yeah, it's like almost like he's maybe like a kid trying to like figure out if they need to capitalize the title of a book or not or something. Like, that's what's happening.
Oof.
And
I'm guilty of that.
No, but this is like, it's not even like the whole thing. He'll like do like you're like certain words get a capitalization, others do not in the post. You'll have to look at it when we're done. It's something that would seemingly initially I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, why is he typing like this? Now, like as he gets bad and like keeps turning the ball over, every time I see that in his post about his engagement, I was like, get it right. Like just speak English, please. It's like, I don't know. So things are bad.
Things are bad.
Things are bad at this point. I think beating up on the NFC East is our only chances at the playoffs. We haven't lost an NFC East game yet, so that's exciting. I guess if we're looking at that, the Commanders are very good, so that's concerning. But yeah, I think we'll see playing the Eagles not this week, but following week after that. So that's obviously going to be big, and they can't really have any more. There's margin for error is super small now, so they got to just keep turning it out from here.
Yeah, I obviously, I don't hate watching the Cowboys lose, but now I do feel bad knowing that, because I don't have anybody in my life that roots for the Cowboys that hard. Knowing that it hurts you, it makes me feel a little sad, but I got to tell you, I do garner a little bit of joy.
Everyone does, and I'm sick of it. It's a lot more fun of everyone hating the Cowboys when they're winning, but when they're this bad, it's like, can you just like move on? The Chiefs are annoying. Like, go pick on them. It's like move on to the Chiefs.
I could be like Don Draper if you want. I could just say like, well, I don't think about them at all.
I don't think
that's fine with me. I'd prefer that.
Is that worse? Not even being thought of?
I don't.
I feel like I just need a break from the slander for a bit,
Yeah,
we're worn down over here.
Yeah, the slander is different when the Cowboys are like 11-5 and going in the playoffs, and then they like fall apart in the first or second round of the playoffs. But this, just stumbling through every game and getting dominated, the slander hits different.
Yeah. It's like watching them. It's like you said, like literally they feel like they are stumbling through every play. Like even when they have like a positive play, like something chaotic occurs or like the other team gets a penalty. Like everything looks 10 times harder than it actually needs to be. Even Zeke coming in and having like his like 6-yard runs, which was better than a cloud of dust. But he like still, it was like a series of him like falling and tripping forward, getting shoved. Like nothing is pretty that they're doing right now. And it sucks.
Well, that's what happens when the elderly, like, they fall like in that like falling, you know what I mean? You ever see an old person fall?
That's literally what he's doing.
Like they don't just go down, it's like multiple steps and it's like, grandpa. That's kind of what's happening.
And speaking of elderly, Jerry Jones is looking significantly worse than I think ever before. He's getting bloated. I think maybe he's hammering some of those pickle juice shots. And like I think that diet of his, just hammering all that McDonald's and stuff, is catching up to him, because it looks like his eyes are about to fall out of his head. His face is getting round. It's not as good as it once was.
No, and it's weird because like older people don't usually get fatter as they're getting older. Like you usually start to like kind of waste away a little bit, but he's doing something. It clearly just shows you for him like winning was the key to like his success, and like I feel like everything was potentiated by winning for him. Maybe not necessarily the money, because I mean he still has all the money and it's not looking great for him. So yeah, that's concerning.
I thought it was adrenochrome.
He doesn't even go for the.
You can cut that.
He just is actually just eating kids. He just skips the step.
Right, exactly.
But now
barbecue,
getting a little older, can't catch him as easy. It's hard for poor Jerry. But I felt like we were kind of in the same boat here, because you were talking about just how everything just looks more difficult than it needs to be. And I thought that was a wonderful transition to what we had to do on Monday night. I would first and foremost like to issue a formal apology to both of you and our listeners for all of these Giants games on primetime, for making the world having to watch the New York Football Giants on Monday night. I was embarrassed. It made me feel sad. It made me feel unhappy. Everything I'm watching, I can't handle it. It's just like, it is just fucking brutal to watch. And the Daniel Jones Giants, all they do is play dumb fucking football. It's just dumb play after dumb play. One good play that looks great. Just sitting with Andrea, watching it with anybody else, it's like people that don't know football, like you see a good play, it's like, oh, where's the flag? What's bad's about to happen? It's just 1st and 15, 1st and 20 on every drive, and just immediately it's 3rd and 8+. We're just constantly fighting from behind the chains. We had 11 penalties, and every one of them came at some back-breaking moment after we had a good play, after something had happened. And just watching the players on the field just become exasperated by it. Malik Neighbors has like a great 8-yard catch on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. And it's just like he comes back in, sees the flag, and just, has the exasperated, throws his head back and his hands up. And it's just like, no shit, this is happening again. So it's like, I don't know. Are we shooting ourselves in the foot because it's bad coaching, or is this just a player's complete inability to execute?
All of the
From what I
above.
was watching, it feels like Brian Dable vacillates between like I'm like almost spite running the ball because it's like I'm not going to let him throw a bad pass, and then and then it's like 3rd and 8 and he's running verts up the field.
Yeah.
And
With they're all out blitzing,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah,
don't have
it's like,
not any time to let the
Jesus
play
Christ.
develop.
I saw that happen like once or twice where I was like, I feel like Dable is like almost trying to make like a statement to the world, like I can't let him throw the ball, and then like it's like, all right, shit, we got to throw it, and then they don't run enough interesting. You have 3 good receivers on your team.
Yes.
I'm still Daniel Jones is not a star quarterback, never going to be, probably shouldn't be a career-long starter. Definitely could be a backup in the league for sure. I would take him tomorrow over Mitch Trubisky. Like, you know what I mean? Like a guy who could get like $8-9 million as a backup. The play calling, I don't think you're doing enough to get. Malik Neighbors looked like he could get open whenever he wanted to in that game. We couldn't catch sometimes, but he was
Yes.
open.
Yes. He'll get better.
That's my I do think it's a little bit of Daniel Jones is not good enough, and like you get that kind of pressure and he's not going to react fast enough, but it's also like Dable's play calling is like very helter skelter. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it just feels like there's there's different forces just pushing against each other, fighting against each other, that it's just like not working in unison. Dable's not calling plays based on the personnel, what we have and their abilities.
Right.
The personnel doesn't know how to respond to what's going on. It just feels like 2 ships in the night that are just passing and not knowing how to communicate. And it's just so frustrating to watch because like our defense is good. I really believe that our defense is very, very talented and like is keeping us in these games. Our terrible team is actively playing Dexter Lawrence out of like a legitimate defensive player of the year contention. He's unbelievable. He's only going to get better when Thibodeau comes back off IR because he's going to have some more pass rush like on the other side that they're going to have to do. What he's doing from the nose tackle position is insane. He's getting push on every single possession. He's constantly in the backfield. Burns is playing great. Ojulari like stepped in and is playing amazing, filling in the Thibodeau role. So being able to have all 4 of them when Thibodeau's healthy is going to be incredible. So it's like you get these moments where, sure, they move the ball pretty well, but like we held them without a touchdown for most of the game. The touchdown that they did score that broke it open was a stupid fucking 75-yard punt return by the fastest guy on earth, Calvin Austin the third, apparently. And then it's like when we score, we don't come out and have that 2-point conversion that just looks like the dumbest thing a person has ever done. Like that nobody's ready for it. They don't know what they're doing. Whatever. Shout out to the Steelers. Their defensive line's amazing. TJ Watt, we have to double team him constantly or else he's just constantly in the backfield. And when we're double teaming him, Highsmith is just making a living just standing next to Daniel Jones anyway. So their defense is really good. They're a talented team. But like I love our defense. I love Neighbors. He could catch a few more balls, but like he's clearly getting open. His routes are really strong. But he just seems like a guy that's going to get dejected when we keep losing and they're not going to him. Tyrone Tracy, I don't know if he's alive. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the concussion is going to keep him out for 2 weeks, but he looks really good. And other than that, like I don't know what else to do. I feel like we're not that far away, but when I watch us put a team together, put a game together, it looks so bad. On paper, I feel like we should just be better. But when I watch this team go out there and do it, we can't get it together. So I don't know if I vacillate between let's get rid of Daniel Jones and like trust Shane and trust Dable to get it together and figure it out with some new quarterback and keep getting some new pieces together. But the more I keep saying, you see these penalties, you see the way that this play calling works. It's just like, is coaching the problem? I'm upset. They're not on the same page. Dable just walks around yelling and farting on the sideline, getting furious, not accomplishing anything.
It's the Ozempic.
And
the Pilates.
It's the Pilates. It has Pilates.
Yep.
But I did see this. I have some fun Daniel Jones stats for you for anybody that says it's like, oh, we're not losing because of Daniel Jones. Like maybe we are, maybe we aren't. These are some stats here. So Daniel Jones has been with the Giants for 6 seasons, been a pro for 6 years. He has started 2-6 or worse in 5 of the 6 seasons. 20 plus passing touchdowns in only 1 of the 6 seasons. He is a 24-42-1 record all time, 1-15 in primetime games, and he has 0 passing touchdowns in 6 straight home games. So I don't know how many more chances this guy needs to get. I mean, I clearly, from what I've seen from Drew Lock, he is not what I thought he could have been. I think that maybe Joe Shane and the ownership should maybe be in jail for not trying to get Jameis Winston in the offseason, not try to get Joe Flacco in the offseason, somebody else to sit behind this guy that would be like a legitimate player that I thought Drew Lock would be. But maybe Drew Lock's talented and maybe the play calling and the whole rest of the team sucks. Maybe the vibes are that bad. I don't know. I feel like every way that I turn and look, I'm just like, well, maybe this is the fucking problem, because I don't know what the problem is, but I know that the team can't keep playing like this on offense because our defense is very, very good. You only have so much of a window, and it's like, this is keeping you in games. Find a way to put up some points. Find a way to put some of these big plays together and make it happen, because it's infuriating to watch. And because we're the Giants, we get to do it on a national stage week in and week out.
I think when things go bad, it's like everything, all your Band-Aids get ripped off. So it's like, it might not even be a total coaching problem or a total Daniel Jones problem or a total that. It's just, but like when it's losing, it's just so, like, you get so frantically, everything sticks out so much more.
Yes. And it just looks so bad.
It sucks. You could have won that game, dude.
Many times.
TJ Watts is a Hall of Famer. That's why I texted you last night, because it's like, I know where you're feeling, and that's the only thing I try to tell myself, as it still doesn't make me feel better when it happens to me. But like, that's what guys like that do in big moments. It's like, it's not even your fucking team's fault. It's, TJ Watts, incredible, and it was coming. Like, you felt it was coming.
But it was like we've been double teaming him the whole game, and then that's the one play we don't. And it's always, of course, like after we made the great play too, like we had the strip sack and we land on it, and we're automatically in field goal range. And it's like, oh, we got a real chance here. And then instead of having Singletary help chip block TJ Watt, it's like we just left him one-on-one in the big moment for the big player to make the game. It's like at the end of a basketball game, it's like not double teaming Steph Curry. It's like, yeah, I'm going to fucking put 2 on Kuminga and hope that we're going to be fine. It's like, no. During the big plays, the big player is going to show up. Maybe fucking prepare for it.
But every once in a while, you get Kevin Love, who can somehow shut Steph Curry down. Maybe that's what they thought. Maybe this was the Kevin Love moment for your right tackle.
It wasn't.
It was not.
Wasn't. Illuminor was not ready. It was not ready. So I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. We sat Deonte Banks, our cornerback we drafted last year also, but now they've come out and said they're the starters. They're good to go. They're already going to be good to go for next week. So Commanders again. I feel like we just went through this ride. We didn't let them have a touchdown last time. Maybe we won't let them have a touchdown again. And but we could do something. But no, don't worry. We're playing at home. So Daniel Jones is allergic to. Are the fans at MetLife that much worse than every other road environment? He get like 0 touchdowns in 6 games at home for him.
The New York crowds are just rough. They're probably walking in, and the crowd's like, "Fuck you, Daniel Jones." Like,
yeah.
But is that not everywhere? Like, is that like in Philly? They don't do the same shit. And like,
they do it there. That's why what's his face is shaving his head and throwing his kids on grenades.
Just mentally weak, mentally fucking weak.
Yeah.
So
I think the Commanders are. I think the Commanders are coming down to earth, and they're coming off of that Hail Mary BS in a game that they played really poorly. I'm not sold on the Commanders just yet.
They just keep finding ways to win. It's the same way that we can find ways to lose and find ways to have the dumbest shit happen to us. They keep finding ways to win. So their record, you are what your record says you are, and we're a bad team. Whatever. I'm in a bad mood. All-time bad fucking day yesterday, man. All-time bad day. But listen, hope springs eternal. Mike, you taught me that in the offseason, and it's time for a Week 9 preview. It's time for us to roll through these games. And I got to tell you, if I just focus on betting, Sarah, we had an all-time – I feel like we couldn't miss. We were just taking heat check shots, and we were hitting touchdown bets. Things were incredible. So we can maybe – we'll find a positive, and I'm going to harp on that, and we're going to stay in that world. So Week 9, we're going to find some ways to win some money in here. So Thursday, more New York teams, more MetLife fucking sadness in primetime. Texans at the Jets. The Jets are favored by 1.5 points. Is Stephon Diggs worth that much? What am I missing here? Like, who are people? Is Vegas or are the public not watching the New York Jets play football? Sarah, what the fuck? Explain that to me.
I was shocked by this. I feel like it's the Aaron Rodgers effect. Like everyone is like he has to do something at some point. Like I feel like it's just like the sense, like the thought, like they're due for a win, which maybe they are. I don't know. And the Texans are a little shakier than we all thought they were. I don't think this is Stephon Diggs related. I feel like they have enough weapons as it is, even with injuries. I just feel like purely this is that it's like, okay, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's going to win a football game at some point. This is probably it because it's been a while.
Mike, will he win a football game at some point?
I'm going to be rooting for the Jets.
This is so wild. This is crazy.
Need the Jets to win this game so that they can knock off Houston for me. Look, Houston, CJ Stroud, again, if you're not watching and you're just listening to the media, he's the second coming of Christ. Like, he hasn't really played well in like 3 weeks. Nico Collins is still out. Now you lost Diggs. Tank Dell has been underwhelming. Their offensive line is terrible, and this guy is running for his life as much as anybody. Their defensive line their defense hasn't really been great either. Joe Mixon's been really good. I feel like now that you the more weapons you lose, the more it's like they can plan for this. I mean, I don't think the Jets can plan for anything.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that they're favorites. That is an insult line. Insulting.
Yes. And it's at MetLife. I'm pretty sure there's something in the water at MetLife, and whoever's there, whoever's the home team there, just gets some sort of sick poisoning, and it's not good for them. So it just feels like it's got to be the Texans. Something's weird there. We will find out what it is. Moving on to Sunday, Sarah, your Cowboys at the Falcons. On the other hand, I feel like Vegas is very closely watching the Cowboys, and they are 2.5-point underdogs to the Atlanta Falcons on the road. You feel okay about this? Are you excited? You're going to go to – this is a 1 o'clock game. Are you still going to go to sleep in the third quarter?
I'm going.
You're going?
I'll be at the game, so I hope I'm not falling asleep. Yes,
Ooh.
I'll be in attendance. So
what if it runs late?
How late are we talking? I think there's a time limit. But if I have to fall asleep, I guess I will. But no, I feel like this is it for the Cowboys. Like I really feel like they have to right the ship. Something with being a Cowboys fan, I know I sounded very down and dejected earlier, but like they always find a way to reel you back in. And we're getting in danger of like me and the rest of a lot of other families ditching. And I feel like this is just a point where they just like pull you back in just enough to keep it interesting. They never let you get too down on them. And I feel like this is just a game they're going to win. The Falcons didn't look so great last week. I feel like it's going to be an offensive struggle, or I guess a defensive struggle for the Cowboys, with the Falcons probably being a little bit more offensively apt. But yeah, I feel like they're going to win this one. This is like a kind of right the ship where I don't think they're going to go anywhere with it, but they're going to do enough to keep us interested. And that's going to be including winning this game.
Ooh, I think that feels about right. That's going to be a lot of Southern hatred. You ever been to Atlanta before?
No, I heard it's a good place to go for a game, though. I think the food is pretty decent, I've heard, but no.
They have great nightlife.
Well, I go to bed early, so.
She goes to bed. Well, I guess, I'm going to be pulling for you there. Do you in general, what is your overall record in games that you've seen in person?
1 loss, like probably 6-1, I think, to the Jets a couple years ago. That hurt, but I've seen a playoff win. That's not, there's not many in my life.
Rare, few and far between.
Yeah, in there. So overall, pretty good record. My husband John is he has not yet seen a win, so he's not coming this weekend. So I guess that means take the Cowboys.
Okay, all right. See, these are the betting tips that the world needs to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Broncos at Ravens. Ravens favored by 9.5 points now. They also, big move, breaking news at the moment, just signed Deontay Johnson, traded from the Panthers. So that's a big move. I feel like everybody's following in the Bills' footsteps. You find you move for a big receiver. All of the top AFC teams now have all made a move for a receiver. And we can talk. I guess we can talk about it now. Also, are the Panthers like the worst team at trading in maybe NFL history? They got I think it was a fifth round pick. A fifth round pick. That's all the Ravens had to give up.
Bryce Young. I told you that was what he was going to be worth.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The Bryce Young trade's the worst trade of all time.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
So, but I do think
what did they give up for McCaffrey? Anybody know?
I think it was a washing machine.
What brand? Yeah, well, it's a solid brand.
Yeah. But we can stick with this game. I do think that makes the Ravens even better. I mean, it makes them very dangerous. But I think the Broncos are frisky, and 10 points seems like a lot, especially. But is this just, you think this is just a Ravens line, they lost last week, coming out angry. That's it. Don't think about it any further.
I mean, the Denver plus 9.5. The Denver money line is just speaking to me. The Ravens defense has been. It's another team adding offense when it should probably try to just figure out what's going on with its defense. They can't hold these leads.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And Denver, Sean Payton, good coach, aggressive defense. If they can heat up Lamar and try to keep him in the pocket and sack him or mess it up, we were watching some of his game against the Browns before they blew the lead, and you saw some throws that this is what I'm talking about. You saw him every time I'd stand up and go, "There's your MVP, everybody." Like, if you can make him uncomfortable, he looks average to below average.
It's this hardcore hater energy.
Yeah.
So fans at home, listening at home, take that with a grain of salt. But I think that this team could be a little bit streaky. This feels like a team that gets hot. People think they're the greatest team anybody's ever seen for a few weeks. Then maybe have a few weird losses. Those are all in a row. People don't know what to make of it. Then they get hot again. But also, they could just be really good, and that could have just been like a Jameis Winston bump game. Just the same way the Panthers had that Andy Dalton bump game where it's like maybe they're good. It's like, no, they just kind of had a one-game thing. The world figures it out. The Broncos are frisky, though. 10 points is a lot of points, and I don't know. I think that's going to be a very good game. I don't think that the Broncos are just going to roll over, so I'm excited.
They have the same record.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good point.
That's crazy to be 9.5-point underdogs, and you're both 5-3. It's a big line.
I think Bo Nix just
Ravens will probably win by 30 because I think they're trying to get you to take Denver. That's what it screams to me.
So hammer the Ravens.
Because it's 9.5, so it's not like they want you to try to tease them down because you want to go through the field goal. So you'd want to tease them. Like if it was 8.5, then you could tease it to 2.5. That's like a standard bet. So this is one of those that they're they want you to take Denver. Don't do it, everybody.
That was hilarious to describe that as a standard bet.
That's listen, it's a standard bet in my community, which is me talking to myself, making bets.
This tangled web I weave.
Yeah.
Mike, Dolphins at your Buffalo Bills. Bills favored by 6.5 points. Dolphins coming off a brutal loss that they gave away with Tua back. You probably think the Dolphins are going to win, right?
I don't know what the hell the Dolphins are going to look like, but I can tell you that if it's windy, Sasha, we talked about my concerns with Tua in general as to how the Bills can play him, as he doesn't have a strong enough arm to make the throws to the outside, so you could play him straight up the middle. And Jalen Waddle's been, where has he been all year? But they've got Mostert back. I think the Bills are going to. I think we're same story again. But it's a divisional game, and it's tough to win multiple games in your division and blow them out. I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna win and cover, baby.
I tried to be rational there for a moment.
Yeah. Bills 38, Dolphins 24.
Okay.
No, wait, 17.
We're not letting them score 24 points.
This is 24. It's 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm excited for that game. As far as the game I'm not excited for, Saints at Panthers. Saints favored by 7 points. This is going to be the game that I think is not on Red Zone. Sarah, I guess you're going to be live in person in Atlanta. You're not going to have to care about this.
I hope not. I don't think anyone in the NFC South, the fans of the Falcons, are going to be too worried about the outcome of this game either. So, yeah, I feel like it's one we're all going to be fine with not ever knowing what happens or what's happening while it's on. And I feel like the Panthers just have to be make it stop. Make the season stop. Because it has to be so painful to be in that locker room. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, they're just getting rid of everybody. And while I did look that up, it's not as bad as I had thought. It looks for Christian McCaffrey, the 49ers gave up a second, a third, and a fourth in 2023, and then a 5th round pick in 2024. So, still no first rounders.
That's a pretty good haul.
That's at least a decent haul, especially if Christian McCaffrey, played for, if it was 2 years of Christian McCaffrey, who knows if that guy comes back anymore. I don't know how bad that.
We should really deep dive who they drafted with those picks, though.
Oh, it's probably going to be sad. I'm sure I can pull that up. It's going to be just nobody.
It's probably no. I mean, I know it's sad because they're on the team right now.
It's a good point. Raiders at Bengals. Bengals getting 7.5 points. Seems like a little bit of a crazy line to me. Raiders just put up a pretty good fight against a division rival. The Bengals, all they got to do is go 7-9. That's easy, right, Mike?
Yeah. Okay, Joe Burrow. Your defense stinks.
Defense is not good.
Mm-hmm.
It's become a significant.
This is the toilet bowl.
That was Sarah. You and I. We picked this team as our Super Bowl team, and this was an utter disappointment.
And I keep riding with them. I need to stop. Every week I'm like, they're gonna do it. They're gonna
keep going.
But they are going to this week. They're gonna win this week, and I feel like they're gonna win handedly. But I need to stop. I am like doing it, and I'm like,
what that they do makes you think that?
They're talented. They have a talented offensive roster. And I think
because Joe Burrow's cute. He looks like grown-up Macaulay Culkin.
He's a hot guy.
Jamar Chase, I feel like you can't he's so electric. I don't know. I feel like Zach Taylor seems like a good coach. Like you have to keep thinking like he has to figure it out at some point. I don't know.
He has 2 first names though. We've talked about this.
He looks like a coach you get before you make adjustments to him in Madden.
Just your standard coach.
Yeah.
It's just a guy.
Who's Todd.
Right.
His name should be Todd.
He's just a man. Now, Zach Taylor is pretty fucking basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean Todd and no last name. Just
that's
Todd.
It. Just not even 2 D's. Just three letters. T-O-D.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just don't see anything about. I don't love the Raiders here, but Minshew's still playing. I mean, Minshew's frisky. Brock Bowers. Oh, I like the Raiders. What am I talking about? 7.5 is crazy.
You also hate the Bengals. You gotta. You're all in on the Raiders.
I'm addicted to hating them. Yes.
Chargers at Browns. Browns plus 1.5. Will the Jameis Winston magic continue? Because I love getting these fucking quotes. Sarah, what are your thoughts?
I love it. Find nothing. Like honestly, watching Jameis play is so much fun. Pains me for Browns fans that went on this long without him, but I feel like this still feels a little bit weird. Like his quarterback abilities, I feel like are still a little bit of a question mark in terms of his accuracy and decision making at times. And I feel like the Chargers are the better team here, but maybe they're just thinking that the Browns will have the potential to keep riding with that effect. But I kind of feel like the Chargers win this one just like as the better, more talented overall team at this point.
Right, just more complete. It's just Harbaugh in the way that I feel like they just don't make those dumb mistakes and they just figure it out.
Yeah.
As of this morning, he was on Good Morning Football. Jameis Winston's recent quote: "You can't say sky's the limit when people are on the moon." Spot the lie.
Not wrong.
The ceiling is the roof.
So I just want more of those. I kind of hope it continues. It's fun. I also just feel bad for the Browns fans, for the Browns defense. Myles Garrett, I feel like he should just dress up like that every week, just spend all of his money and all of his time just doing nothing but being in a makeup artist chair. Is it
was
weird
really a tough guy, he would wear it during the game.
He just dresses like as an X-Man. Is it weird that as an adult that he loves Halloween that much? Like what? It's a little weird, right?
Halloween's like sneaky. A lot of grown-ups are into it. I'm not really one of them. Do you see the money people spend on these haunted? Have you in your neighborhoods, guys? You don't. There's got to be a few houses that are like what is there, $10,000 worth of Home Depot like figurines that eyes light up on their yard?
It is
Where do
crazy.
people keep that shit too? Can anybody? I've been asking people that. Where do they keep all this Halloween stuff?
They probably have a storage.
So they pay monthly all year for their. I got to load up my vampires into my truck and what a boy.
That's just what they're trying to go to their basement floods and they're trying to go to the insurance company. It's like my fucking witches.
No, my Frankenstein. I left the battery. It got exposed to water. Oh.
I do believe. I think I had heard that Halloween is the second most money spent on a holiday after Christmas. Now it is overtaken New Year's and Valentine's Day. I get that. Whatever. It's not a religious holiday, so it kind of encompasses more people. But it feels like it's every day now. I feel like everybody I work with that has kids, it's like, all right, so we got like this thing on Friday with the kids, then we're doing a trunk or treat, and then we got to go to this other thing at the school, and then it's like my kids got like 40 pounds of candy, and it's like Halloween's in 3 days. It's like, when we were kids, it was just like you wore your costume to school on Halloween and then you went trick-or-treating on Halloween and that was it. Now it just feels like it's a week and a half bonanza with Myles Garrett spending $4,000 on fucking makeup.
What if we just really test our listeners and this just becomes a referendum into what's wrong with the economy? This is what our parents weren't spending $7,000 on figures on our yard. It's not a thing.
My dad made me be a hobo for 7 straight years because he just wanted me to wear his clothes. I
find it. Listen, Eddie, my son almost got me. I just doxed my son's name on the podcast. Eddie, he almost got me to buy, like, I'm going to end up having to buy this stuff because kids are cute. And I guess that's it. Like Home Depot and Lowe's, they put it right at the front with the press me. And you press it and they like do whatever the animations are. And like he's already talking about next year how we're going to have all this stuff in our yard.
Tell them to start fucking working for it. I also think it'd be very funny if you walked in there and all the press me signs, you just started playing lockdown defense on them.
Yeah. Ball.
But hand up,
man,
hand in the face.
Man. Rotate.
Eddie's like, I thought we were buying stuff. It's like, no, are you reading the signs, dummy? Keep up, Eddie.
I tear my Achilles trying to lock down like a zombie. They have a zombie like a deep sea diver, and I just tear my Achilles. It was actually pretty cool. The amount of work. Listen, most of those look better than the Dwayne Wade statue.
That does look horrific. I got a real laugh out of that. Somebody said leaked pictures of Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade's wedding, and it was just her, and like the face was plastered over cut over his face. It was very, very fun.
I've seen a bunch of those. They did one with when he throws the alley-oop to LeBron, the famous picture, and he's got his arms down. They just dubbed the statue on it.
So fucking funny. I feel like we got AI. Technology is incredible, but still nobody can figure out how to fucking do a proper like bust like statue. It's astonishing.
Pause.
Moving on. Commanders at
Sounds
Giants.
Like a you problem, Sasha.
Commanders at Giants. Giants plus 3.5. Maybe somebody will score a touchdown in this game. I think that's maybe my hope. Hopefully it will be the Giants.
Devin Singletary, lock it in.
Dude, I guess we'll see if Tyrone Tracy comes back, but I would if they're both healthy, Singletary was barely on the field yesterday. So I don't know.
This is his week. Commanders give up rushing touchdowns.
But take the Commanders. Fuck the Giants. They can't figure it out, and they lose at home. Patriots at Titans. I think you mentioned Toilet Bowl a little too early.
Yeah, but these games are exciting for me now. I got money on all this. Let's go Patriots.
It really is.
I'm cheering on the whole AFC.
That was also why it was so fun watching with Mike. We're rooting for the Titans to have the worst record. You're rooting for the whole AFC to be 2-6. I mean, there are so many irons in the fire. I don't know how you keep it all straight.
But yeah, mostly anxiety. I don't sleep so good during the football season.
Bears at Cardinals. Bears coming off an absolutely brutal loss where they looked terrible up until the fourth quarter. Cardinals coming out and absolutely stealing a win, like actually looking decent. Do they know they have Marvin Harrison Jr. and do they know that when they throw him the ball, they win games, and when they don't, they lose them? Like I'm not crazy, right?
It's insane. I don't
think Kyler can't see him.
That's true.
Little
That
guy.
is very true. They're so hard to figure out because of that. Like you get two different versions of this team when they're utilizing him appropriately. And I feel like you don't know what team is going to show up each week.
Yeah, which is so frustrating. Fantasy-wise, betting-wise, expectation-wise, I don't know. The Bears will just continue to find brutal ways to lose. And Matt Eberflus looks so stupid. His stupid haircut. I don't know. Not an Eberflus fan. Jaguars at Eagles. Eagles favored by over a touchdown, 7.5. Sarah, can you make the Eagles stop looking fucking good?
No, that hurt me because I was thinking they were like bad. I was like, this is good. At least the Eagles were the ship's going down together here. Nope. They looked pretty offensively. I feel like they were rolling this past weekend against the Bengals. Granted, Bengals defense is bad and maybe even worse than we possibly thought. I feel like the Jaguars could sneak this one out though. Like again, they're kind of everyone here. Everyone here is like in desperation mode, especially Doug Peterson. I feel like they've just been down. Like, I don't know. And it just seems like the Eagles, like they lose these weird games like this where you're kind of like, how'd that happen? Why'd that happen? I feel like Sirianni's a big get ahead of yourself kind of guy where like they had this big win over the Bengals where it's like, all things are all chill and relaxed in this week at practice, and like they're not getting ready as they're supposed to. I don't know. Maybe it's just me talking into existence what I wish was happening. But yeah, I feel like the Jags, I definitely would take them to cover for sure.
Yeah, 7.5 feels like a lot of points, and it feels like people are just real jazzed after that Eagles game last week. Which I mean, I guess I get. They won by a lot. They kind of dominated, and they started to kind of all get it together. And I mean, just on a roster basis, like they got a lot of guys, and it's scary when they're rolling. But I think that they're going to keep winning these games. I think they're going to end up with a decent record, and then I think when it really comes down to it, get to the end of the season, playoff time, I think that's when the mental weakness will show up.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to what I think is probably the game of the week. Lions at Packers. Mike, is Malik Willis going to be the starting quarterback? I feel like we're behind the eight ball here trying to bet and try to figure out what's going on, because I feel like this is a different game if Jordan Love plays or not. Or maybe it's not. Malik Willis is good, maybe.
I don't want to jump ahead to my bets, but this line is ridiculous. It's 3.5. I don't care if Brett Favre is playing. The Packers are good. The Packers beat the Jaguars by 3. And now they're only 3.5-point underdogs to the Lions, who are just ripping the soul. Like they're just going from town. They are Mike Myers. They're going from town to town, just killing people. They scored 52 points, and Jared Goff threw for 85 yards. That's it.
That's insane. That's
murder. Assault. I mean, and I do think the Packers are good, and I think LaFleur's a great coach. It's just, at least right now, this team is, you got to bet them.
I feel like
even if I lose, I won't even feel bad about it, because like then I'll know, all right.
Smart.
Teams don't stay hot like this for some. I mean, the Patriots with Tom Brady. I don't think they're going to stay hot like this forever, but right now it's all clicking. The vibes are perfect, and Jordan Love's got a hurt groin, and he kind of still looks like shit every other quarter. Lions.
Okay.
I agree. This is on paper. If I didn't know who the teams were, if I'm just seeing home dog it's like Packers at home, Lambeau, underdog by over a field goal. If it wasn't the Lions, me saying that sentence would be like, you should bet the home dog. But the Lions are just such a fucking juggernaut, and I love watching them play. I think I'm going to end up being in the same boat as you. We'll see what your picks are, though. May have to go the opposite. And
Jared Goff's an indoor cat.
That's true.
And he's outdoors.
But I think the weather's good, though. Weather's good, maybe a little different. And this is one of the few games they have outdoors. It's a good point. Fucking Lambeau. It's a real deal. I'm excited.
You clearly don't even need Jared Goff to be good in these games.
It's true.
Right.
Fuck yeah, 87 yards. I'm pretty sure he could handle that.
I would hope so.
Going out, one of the later games, or NFC West matchup, Rams at Seahawks. Seahawks still favored by 1.5 points despite what they've put on tape the past couple weeks. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Rams, I thought, looked really good, coming off a mini bye from Thursday. I guess, actually, I didn't even have this as my pick, but I think with those two sentences, I think I might have just talked myself into maybe sprinkling a little bit of an extra pick in there. I think I really like the Rams here.
The line is flipped.
Line is now flipped. It's Rams minus 1.5?
Yes.
That's happened within 12 hours. That's impressive.
I like the Rams, too. Love them.
Puka Nacua, back.
He's so fucking good.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of either of these teams right now, because the Rams did look very good last week, but they also looked not great at times. Very injured. Seahawks, I don't know. I kind of feel like I believe that they're going to right the ship at some point, but it doesn't seem like they're offensively going to be able to keep up with the Rams, so I probably would agree and go with them this week.
Fuck yeah. Going on to Sunday Night Football, Colts at Vikings. Joe Flacco officially the starter. Anthony Richardson seems to be confirmed soft.
Yeah. Have you ever seen anybody ever do that in your life?
Come out of the game like that to just tap himself out? I mean, without some injury? Yeah, definitely not a quarterback. I saw Pat McAfee's whole rant. It seemed like actually, from a former player, watching him get that worked up about, like, you're the face of the franchise, just to tap yourself out of the game is unheard of. What's going on in that locker room? Joe Flacco's the guy. Joe Flacco can win this game. Joe Flacco, it's what I've seen. Brian Flores' defense is unbelievable, and it's confusing, and they fly around the field, and they're really, really good. When they're facing a veteran quarterback that's seen a lot of defenses and knows how to dissect some of these blitzes and, like, kind of handle some of these weird showing pressure, dropping out of it, like an old quarterback, the Flacco, that's going to watch tape all week and know what to look for, it's a little less potent. So I think this is going to be a very good game. I think I still take the Vikings here, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer than the 5.5 line suggests.
Yeah, I just feel like the Vikings don't have that big of a fall from grace. 3 losses in a row here after starting off so hot. And we know they are a good football team. They're well coached. So I feel like now that they know it's Flacco they're facing, they'll be able to prepare, adjust for that, and I think they'll win. But yeah, I feel like I could definitely see this being close because you never know with Flacco. It's just he has the ability to make those like quick, I feel like game-changing, passes down the field that way they weren't getting with Anthony Richardson. So that definitely will keep him in it. That's true.
Yeah, and Jonathan Taylor's back.
Throw the game-changing pick.
Yeah, he's changing the game. Regardless, it's exciting. And yeah, I mean, Anthony Richardson's completion percentage. What was it at some point on Sunday? You were like, he's 4 for 12,
4 for 17. I think I saw.
I mean,
I was like, this can't be serious. Yeah.
So it kind of seemed like Steichen was like trying to get him killed, just like taking him on some of those runs, and he's just getting smoked. And he's like, please just give me an excuse to put somebody else in.
Stay down. Stay down.
And then Monday night, we are moving on to Buccaneers at the Kansas City Chiefs. We get another primetime Chiefs game. We get most likely more Taylor Swift, and the Chiefs are minus 8.5-point favorites against the decimated Buccaneers. No receivers left, but who cares? They're just going to throw to Bucky Irving 1,000 times. Maybe it'll work. Chiefs, the Kings are not covering. Maybe but can the Bucs win? Is there any way the Bucs can actually win this game, or are we just hoping that they cover?
In Arrowhead,
think they could win.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Arrowhead
I
is
don't
tough.
think in Arrowhead. I feel like if they were at home, maybe they could get lucky, but I don't think so.
How do we keep letting the Chiefs get away with this? Like this schedule.
I know.
Like it's like if you're about to play the Chiefs, everybody on your team is going to like have everything tear like the week before. The rest of their schedule, their only loss on their schedule is going to be in Buffalo. They're going to go 16-1.
I could see him splitting with the Chargers.
Okay.
That's a possibility.
Because they're not blowing these teams out, aside from last week. I mean, they are rounding in form, and they did just sign a very, very good receiver. Yeah,
32.
It does always feel like, why are they playing the Panthers? The Steelers on the road. I don't know. You might be able to shake out a few losses in there, but it does feel like their defense is really good this year, and they're just rounding into form. They're not going to go undefeated. They don't go undefeated. Teams don't go undefeated. There's going to be a loss or two in there somewhere, but they just feel like they keep getting better, and it's just like this just always happens. It's happening again. We're watching it happening again.
Yeah, you can't bet against Mahomes on prime time, but I kind of think Baker Mayfield's got that like shit to him that he could, sure, something magical could happen, but it won't. But it won't.
It just won't. I mean, you may think it will in the first half, but
exactly.
It won't
That's
happen.
what I was going to say.
Well, that's a fun bet. Tampa Bay first half, Chiefs
game.
I can give you right now.
Oh, Mike's in the kitchen.
Plus 550.
It's pretty good odds.
Okay.
Pretty good odds.
Like it.
But then remember,
That's
who are the
nice.
Buccaneers
I'm gonna
throwing
bookmark
to?
that.
I don't know. Bookmark that. Put that in the tickler file. Hell of a week 9 recap or week 9 preview. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to probably watch some games other than the Giants. Maybe the Giants sneak one out at home. Maybe we figure out how to score a touchdown. I don't know. I get excited. Before we go on to Heat Check, we got to talk about it. Yankees aren't officially dead, but the Yankees are dead. It's a sad departure out of the playoffs. We've limped into this. This is kind of what I saw coming the whole time. This is what I thought might have happened in some of these other series. We played bad teams to get here. The Royals are not the Dodgers. The Guardians are not the Dodgers. And the Yankees, when they need to, it's time. The lights are on, and Aaron Judge and half the team has just decided not to show up. It's depressing. It's sad. It's frustrating. It just feels like we just can't get any clutch hits. We're getting people on base and leaving them on base. There's just watching Game 3, Derek Jeter throw out the first pitch and then just continue with a lack of clutch hitting. It's a fucking disgrace. It's a disgrace to Derek Jeter.
You should have went out and played short.
To not have a guy that can come out and just get a hit when you need one. I don't know where we go from here. I guess all in on just sign Soto because him and Stanton are the only people that decided to show up for this whole playoffs and whatever in this series. It's sad. It's frustrating. Mike, at least Mike, where's your fucking MLB rig? Let's go to 7, get some ratings here. Like this is just going to peter out and just be like the most boring World Series ever.
Ironically, I've I've gone through put my brain in a pretzel to try to figure out how you could rig MLB, and I don't know how you could.
This is probably
It's pure.
It's pure. There's nobody that could ever do anything to influence a game here.
Well, they've basically got balls and strikes down to like a computerized, like you can't get away with that.
But
And
they're
they
still
don't.
missing
Like,
calls.
I've watched.
They're still missing calls. They're an all-time bad ref or bad group here. It's going relatively both ways though. But now it's just immediate. Everybody knows that the ref's making bad call or the ump's making bad calls.
Is Giancarlo Stanton the slowest professional athlete you've ever seen in your life?
Yes. But I don't even care. I mean, he's the only person hitting. He puts the
But
ball a million miles away.
How could somebody that's that physically fit, Sarah, if you any ideas? And he's like, it's not like he's like, he might be the slowest athlete I've ever seen, and I'm not even being like offensive linemen are faster, would round third faster than him.
Yes.
Deion Dawkins would have, like, if you put them side by side like they do with the 40 times, he would beat him.
Cooked him. It's just to keep him healthy, I guess. I mean, this is the first year he's like had a pretty good stint. Like, he's in the playoffs. He's not hurt. He doesn't have some pulled muscle. He always has some pulled muscle.
But why is it okay that he's a fucking nothing on the base path? Like, why is that? Like, can't you figure that out? It's 2024.
Can't figure it out without him pulling a muscle, apparently. I think they've been trying to do that. They tried to have him play the outfield.
He has to be just like one of those people, like a slow twitch fiber kind of person, like fast twitch fibers, fast movements, running, things like that. Some people like literally have like a shortage of fast twitch, and you can train to like build them up. Clearly he's not trying that hard. Definitely there's a laziness component to it for sure, but he has to just be someone who is just naturally a blob with slow twitch fibers.
You can't look like that and be lazy. You see how jacked that guy is? You see those interviews?
He must be cardio lazy. He's spending too much time in the weight room.
He looks good though. Who cares? And he hits the ball hard. I have nothing bad to say about him. I am all in on Stanton. I am fine with whatever it is. I do not care. He's the only him. I mean, even some of Torres, Gleyber Torres has showed up, but him, like, I don't care. He has hit enough that I don't care about his speed. I don't care about his fast switch muscles. Everybody else is the problem. Volpe, Chisholm, fucking Judge. I don't even know what to do with Judge. It's a weird situation because he obviously got us here. He played amazing, but it just seems like whenever the heat is turned up to like anywhere close to a fever pitch, you know, when he needs to hit that 60-second home run, when he needs to show up in the playoffs, it's just like he's just fanning at pitches, taking swings I've never seen him take before. So it's frustrating. It's depressing. It's kind of what I saw coming this whole time. Unfortunately, we can go back and listen on here. It's like, I never felt confident in this team, even when we were winning and we were dominating the series. Like, what? We didn't lose. We lost 2 games going up to this point in the playoffs, but it still just felt like the ways we were winning were not replicable. And we ran into a team that was actually talented, and we just couldn't keep it up. Sadness. But to get out of that, we got to move on to Heat Check because it's time to win some money, and everybody has been very, very hot on their bets. We have been absolutely crushing these picks, and I think we are just completely stealing money from Vegas. So last week, Mike went 3-0, down up to 15-7 on his picks, which is very, very exciting, except for me and the barbershop group, because now we are down to 7-15, which is a real depressing stat. So, Sarah, we're going to start off with you. You've been giving us a bunch of picks. So, Sarah, what are you thinking this week? How are you winning everybody some money?
I guess I'm bringing real hater energy this week. I must have been upset when I was doing my picks earlier, maybe, but I'm going to go Dolphins +6.
Okay.
Commanders -3.5.
Okay. Also still mean.
And Cowboys money line.
Mike,
I'm targeting everyone on this entire podcast.
She's
right
just
now.
Straight up just saying fuck you to all of us directly.
I'm lashing out. This is me lashing out right now. Okay, you just have to deal with it for this week.
Mike looks to be having some technical difficulties, but I will take it from here and say that that's it. Those are. It's hard not for us to take that personally. The Dolphins, Tua, I don't even know if he's going to be alive. Is he going to be able to score 6 points? Commanders -3.5 is probably.
Yes.
Not happy about that. I was looking at the board and everything felt gross. I could basically talk myself into just about every one of these picks. I'm going to take the grossest one I could find. I'm going to take the nastiest, grossest, most disgusting pick I saw. I'm taking the Panthers +7.
Why?
I'm taking the Panthers +7. The only thing that scares me is because they did play the Vikings or the Lions last week, and there's that whole thing going on about the team the week after you play the Lions. But the Saints are a bad football team, and it's more along the lines of the Saints should not be favored by 7 points to anybody. Spencer Rattler, I've watched Spencer Rattler play football. That guy should not be favored by a touchdown to anybody. The Panthers have at least, even against these good teams these past 2 weeks, came out and put up 10 points, and then they put up 14 points like right away. So if the Panthers can do that, I'm pretty sure that the Saints are not good enough to be able to cover that again. So if they're able to do that, the Saints were going to have to score 18 points, or the Saints are going to have to, 2 weeks ago, or the Saints would have to score 22 points. I just don't think they can do that. A home dog of a touchdown plus against the Saints, I'm trying not to overthink it. I don't care how bad the Panthers may be. I'm taking it.
Just in a pretzel trying to come up with bets here. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. They are terrible.
The Saints are terrible.
You're not wrong there.
Spencer Rattler is bad. Can he beat any team by more than 7 points?
Jake Haney is with his thirst trap pictures. Have you seen his?
Have not.
Mm-mm.
No.
What do you do during the week that you don't look this stuff up? Sorry, by the way.
Right,
I had a terrible internet connection. I think my wife and son decided to stream everything in the house while also download a bunch of shit. I had to call up and ask if I could just have a few more minutes before we suck all the internet out of my Columbia County.
So they're tied up in the basement. Before we move on to your picks, did you hear Sarah's picks, or were you cutting out?
As it cut off, I heard him say, "Are you hearing this?" So you took the Dolphins?
You took the Dolphins, the Commanders, and the Cowboys. So that's an all podcast. Yeah.
I'm lashing out this week. Just let me do it, okay? I'll be back next week. I'm fine.
I had one of my picks I changed to save somebody's feelings, and maybe I don't do that anymore.
Nope, we're not worried about feelings in this. So, Mike, finish this out here. What are you taking? How are you? I mentioned before as you were cutting out, you were 3-0 last week, going up to 15-7, putting the barbershop
3-0.
Yep, you were 3-0, pushing the barbershop to 15-7. Nothing wrong.
Good, right?
I think that's really good. Yeah,
Sasha.
Yeah, this hurts. This hurts.
Here we go, Sasha.
Tell me how I'm winning this week. I'm fading you. There's no way you can't go 6.
Hey,
yeah.
Who do you think the worst team in the league is?
Currently, probably the Titans.
On them this week, because I'm taking New England money line at Tennessee. I don't even want the points. You can keep the points.
Thank you.
46 points. Maybe I'm getting cocky here. Drake May hopefully is going to play. I've seen nothing out of Tennessee. Going to just keep pushing
till it doesn't work anymore.
Titans.
Thanks. Yeah, I hate this.
Who's Titans quarterback that might be on another team that might have been? Maybe we thought the worst quarter. Yeah. Hey. I'll take them because you're taking them because I'm taking the Lions -3.5.
Green Bay. All right, so you're taking Lions -3.5. They got to cover a field goal on the road. I like Green Bay. I like that pick. I was thinking about Green Bay making mine as well. I was looking for those disgusting picks. This feels like a disgusting week. I would have taken that anyway. I'm a big fan of it.
As I've alluded to, it is spooky Halloween season. So we'll be taking Count Dracula, the quarterback of the Colts, +5.5 because I'm taking Minnesota -5.5.
Colts +5.5. Give Joe Flacco 5.5 points all day. These are crazy bets. You're just trying to lose now. You're just trying to make me happy.
Maybe we'll see,
or maybe not.
Well, a close, closer up for anybody listening who wants to take something. Jags +7.5.
Not official. Not official. Making it official.
It's lit up. It's lit up. I'm going to say unofficial because I didn't watch enough of the Eagles. But again, the Eagles fall into I did take them to beat the Bengals because in my algorithm in my brain of teams that I bet against, the Bengals were higher. But the Eagles are also a team that I think we should bet against more now. Right now.
That makes me happy.
Right now. Because they're way overweighting them. So.
Fuck yeah. I'm all in on that.
And have looked a little bit better too.
Yeah. This is like their talent is starting to come out, but better. Not a pushover.
Lot
I like
first round picks on their defense.
Yes. So recap and heat check. Sarah is just going absolute, just complete fire sale on the podcast. We're going Dolphins +6, Commanders -3.5, and the Cowboys money line. She's on the road. I guess we can maybe root for the Cowboys there, but boy is that hard to not take it personally. I am taking the Panthers +7, and Mike is taking New England money line, Lions -3.5, and the Vikings -5.5, which therefore means the barbershop going to start cooking here. Tennessee money line, Green Bay +3.5, and the Colts +5.5. So another wonderful
barbershop.
Episode.
You cut hair at a barbershop. Cut hair there. Maybe that's your problem.
Well, we appreciate you guys listening. It's good to have the whole gang back together. We love you very, very much. Thank you for listening as always. Remember to share, like, subscribe, everything, every listener, all your messages, even the weird ones, they all mean a lot. So we love you. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you next week.